welcome back to my channel, and today I have such an exciting video for you. We're gonna talk about my book collection. This has been pretty highly requested by you, so we're gonna talk all things that are behind me right now. We are gonna go ahead and jump into it. You know I like to cut to the chase. So here, I guess I should talk about how my shelves are organized, which a lot of you know if you watch any of my like book reorganization videos. So this is my hardcover shelf. This has mainly hardcovers. My hardcovers go down to here, but I also have some nonfiction, and then my contemporary and literary fiction is on this shelf. My hardcover shelf is not separated by genre. It is separated by my book of the month hardcovers. Those are organized by author last name. And then the rest of my hardcovers are just organized by author last name, alphabetically, of course. And let's bring you over here. Okay, so here are only paperbacks, and we have my fantasies, and then it goes into my thrillers and yeah, my thrillers. I also forgot to mention that on this shelf with my contemporary fiction and literary fiction, I also have horror there. So I kind of have horror and thrillers separated. And then over here, some overflow thriller up top, but the rest of this is romance and dark romance. I also have a bottom shelf that's just kind of the new buys that I have gotten, along with some extra book of the month books that I just haven't rearranged for my other shelf. So that's a little rundown. Can you see that? All right, so my book of the month hardcovers are very precious to me. Obviously, I work with book of the month, so I get their monthly picks every single month. So I guess like I haven't read a lot of them just because I haven't been reading anything that much lately. But up here, one that I'm really excited to get to is Isaac's Song by Daniel Black. I want to get to this really soon. I also have had my eye on this thriller. You know I love a thriller, and I've heard some kind of mixed reviews about it, but you know, mixed schmixed, who cares, right? We got to find out for ourselves. Here, The Favorites is definitely one that I want to read for sure, along with Beautiful Ugly by Alice Feeney. I've heard some really good things about that one. And if there are any on here that I'm not talking about that you think I should read, let me know. You know, I'm always down for like a good reprimanding. Let me scoot you back just a little bit. I also have this guy here. The Ornithologist's Field Guide to Love by India Holton. This is giving cozy fantasy, and I love a cozy fantasy. So I definitely want to get to that one. What else? This one seems really interesting. Blackwood's Blue Sky by Eowyn Ivy. And this is like a fairy tale reimagining, but I think it's like pretty dark. We all know that the fairy tales that these Disney Channel and Disney production companies make all frilly and willy-nilly and prissy, you know it ain't really like that. So I think this is staying more true to the original material. One that I want to read for sure is The Teller of Small Fortunes by Julie Leong. This one is like, the cover is really what's doing it for me. So that one, and I really just love all the thriller picks. So like these two, A Killing Cold and Sleep Tight, are high up on my list. Will not be reading this one, no offense. Okay, and then down here, I actually did read The God of the Woods by Liz Moore. It was one of my favorite books of 2024. I have also read Behind Her Eyes by Sarah Pinbrough, also a all-time favorite thriller of mine. One that I really want to get to is Phantasma by Kaylee Smith. I have heard some really good things about this, And while we're over here, this is the first ever book of the month book that I read, The Wishing Game. I bought this one myself. This was not from me working with them, but I really enjoyed this one by Meg Schaefer. So I also want to read The Lost Story by Meg Schaefer. That's definitely a cozy fantasy vibe. All the way down. And so this row actually is where my book of the month, well, they don't end because I have almost a whole nother shelf on back that way of more book of the month books that I need to put over here. Over here are just the rest of my book of the month books, and then we go into just regular hardcovers. So of course, Children of Blood and Bone. I am actually in the middle of reading this one. I also want to read The Familiar by Leigh Bardugo. It's giving like dark gothic fantasy. It's just giving, you know? I want to read The Riding Retreat by Julia Bartsch. I've heard some interesting things about it, but this is another one that I just like want to see for myself. I don't know if you'll really be able to see it, but just trust me, bro. Okay, so hands down favorite book of all time, The Reformatory by Tananarive Due is down here. And I'll give like an overview, so don't feel, just if you can't see it, I'll make sure you can. All Good People Here by Ashley Flowers, I have read. I enjoyed it. I think it was a 3-star. It was a debut like mystery book, so it was okay. The one that I definitely do want to read is Immortal Dark by Tigas Girma. Heard amazing things about this. And I also want to read The Business Trip by Jessie Garcia. Apparently this is like Frida McFadden. Who's that? This is like Frida McFadden, but elevated, which interests me greatly. One that I'm kind of on the fence about is Incidents Around the House by Josh Mallerman. This is about a haunting, and I haven't really crossed over into that subgenre of horror yet, so I'm a little nervous about it. But we have The Silent Patient by Alex Michaelides. I've read that, didn't like it, and I just want to shout this book out because it's just so pretty and pink. A touch of gin, so cute. But yeah, that's my first shelf, so I'll give a little overview and then we'll move on to the next one. Little overview. Use the pause button, everybody, if you need to. But I just didn't feel like I could really just give you a close-up of everything. So I'm just making sure I get that to y'all now. Okay, we are now on to our second bookshelf. So I have some hardcovers up here. These are all of my Riley Sager hardcovers. I also have some in paperback. I have read 4 of these. And this is the only one of the hardcovers that I still have left to read, Survive the Night. Apparently it's like a 90s thriller, which I'm very excited about because I am a product of the 90s. So we got to get into it. And then I also have my special edition of Archer's Voice by Mia Sheridan. This is one of the books that I first read when I first joined Book Talk. I was influenced. And at the time, I really, really loved this book. I think if I went back and reread it, I don't know how I would feel. I think it'll always have a special place in my heart. But my taste has changed. You know, that happens. So, I don't know, she's gorgeous. I love the blue and like this corally orange peachy sprayed edge. So this is cute. I have a Catherine Steadman that I need to read. I read The Family Game by her and picked this up when I saw it at Half Price Books, and I still need to read it. So if you've read this, let me know if I need to bump it up to the top of my list. I also do have Divine Rivals, but my bestie is borrowing it. So, and that's the only reason that's the only reason I'm keeping this. I don't know if this is for me, but if Bestie Haley loves Divine Rivals, I have the second book for her. I've also heard a lot of good stuff about Kakai, and I love the speckled, is it speckled edges? Deckled? The deckled edges are kind of eating. I love this. I really want to get to this, but she's a little intimidating to me. Anyway, we can go to the next shelf. So I loved this one, We Came to Welcome You by Vincent Torrado. This one was really fun. It's a suburban horror. I also want to read Horror Movie by Paul Tremblay because I read The Pallbearers Club by him and it was just so weird and I loved it. So I want to read more of him. 7 Days in June. Really enjoyed that one. And I have another Tia Williams that I want to read. The Hitchcock Hotel, I need to read this. This was a recommendation from Jan. I haven't read it yet, but she said she thinks I would like it. So that's on here. I also read Black Buck and loved it. It was one of my favorite books of last year. I read Light Lark by Alex Astor. I liked that one. And I still need to read the rest of the series at some point. And then I also have Bloom and Guillotine by Delilah S. Dawson. Loved both of these. They're little tiny guys, so they're quick slump busters. Right, one of my favorite books of last year. Highly recommend. Very, very weird literary fiction. And then I also want to read Emily Wilde's Encyclopedia of Fairies by Heather Fawcett. I don't know. I think this is giving cozy fantasy and I never remember how short this is. So I want to get to that one too. Okay. Hi. Up there. Okay. So I have Masquerade by Oo Sangoyomi. Read this one. Loved it. I have, what else do I have over here? Oh, I have a collector's edition of If He Had Been With Me by Laura Nowlin, and she is gorgeous. I read this book and I really liked it. I don't know if I would like it at this point though. Haunt Sweet Home, I read. It was just okay. But yeah, this is this shelf. I really want to read this one. The Eyes Are the Best Part by Monica Kim. That's giving weird and perfect for me. Okay, on this row, I read this one, which I think I could reread every Christmas. Everyone This Christmas Has a Secret by Benjamin Stevenson. I enjoyed that one. One of my favorite books of 2023, Comfort Me with Apples. Very weird. I also read Now Is Not the Time to Panic by Kevin Wilson. I read that one this year. It's not my favorite Kevin Wilson, but I enjoyed it still. And then I have a bunch of nonfiction books that I have not read. And then over here, I'm excited about Miss Mona Awad. I want to get into her. And Monstrilio here, I'm going to take it out. Was that a no look? Wrong book. Dang it. Monstrilio, I want to read. I know a lot of people really loved this book, so I want to read it. And then One of Us Knows by Alyssa Cole. I hauled this in my previous book haul, so if you haven't watched that, go watch it. But I'm really excited about this one too. All right, and then down here we have some Stephen King. I read Misery. I have a reading vlog of that one on my channel. I read this and watched the original movie adaptation with Kathy Bates. I also want to read A Dowry of Blood. That one is going to be different for me, but I think I could like it for sure. What else do we have over here? Oh, I really want to get to The Center. That one is high up on the list. We Spread, I read Bars and loved. Anything else over here? Helen Oyemi. She's one that's new to me. I have not read her, but I really want to. I don't know what it is about these books that she writes. They all sound so interesting. And then here on the bottom, what do we have here? The Pallbearers Club. I mentioned this one a little bit earlier by Paul Tremblay. I actually really enjoyed that one. Oh, my Kevin Wilson books. These are the two I've read. This was my favorite book of 2023. And I also read this one. This was one of my favorite books of 2024. I also have a few of his other books. I have, this is a short story collection, Baby, You're Gonna Be Mine. I have The Family Fang. And then there's another short story collection, Tunneling to the Center of the Earth, that I am super interested in. I also really want to get to Such a Fun Age by Kylie Reed. That one has been catching my eye recently. There's just so many books and not enough time, man. Ugh. Who wrote that rule? Okay, so here are all the books that are on my second shelf. Let me know if you have any favorites on this shelf, some things that you want to read, things that you're interested in. All right, up here is the start of my fantasy section, which I am very excited to say is growing. So we can start at the top. Legends and Lattes, a classic. The first cozy fantasy, well, no, I would say The Wishing Game by Meg Schaefer was probably the first cozy fantasy I ever read. But this is one that I read last year. I absolutely loved it. Quick read. I listened to it on audio as well. And I also have Bookshops and Bone Dust, which is actually the prequel. And I think, are they coming out with a third one? I don't know if I saw that right. But definitely recommend those. And then I have the Lunar Chronicles series, which is my favorite series of all time. I love this series so much. I read this back in like 2015, 16, and I ate it up. But love these. I want to reread them very badly. Then I have Rotten Fruit by D.W. Cole. This is a psychological horror, which I really enjoyed. Then of course I have Legendborn that I've read. I'm definitely going to be finishing this series because I will be shocked if this doesn't end up in my favorite reads of 2025 list this year. So I also have the sequel Bloodmarked, and I also have Oathbound that is coming up a little bit later in the video. But another YA fantasy series, the Gilded Ones trilogy by Namina Forna. We have that one, and they absolutely hate me. One of these things is not like the other. I will let you decide, but I'm going to still tell you, why is this book not the same as these two? This is a travesty, and I will not stand for it. I really won't. Did I have crazy eyes? Anyway, but really enjoyed the first book. I still need to complete the trilogy. Oh, One's Company. I have been wanting to read this so bad. It's like weird literary fiction. This lady wins a lottery and she plans a drastic move to an isolated mountain retreat where she can recreate the iconic apartment set of Three's Company and slip into the lives of its main characters, Janet, Chrissy, and Jack. Okay, y'all don't know this about me, but I loved watching Three's Company. Come on, knock on our door. We've been waiting for you. Where the kisses are hers and his. Three's Company too. You see, like, I need to read this because the nostalgia will overtake me, and I know that. Next shelf, we have one of my favorite cozy fantasies of all time, The Secret Society of Irregular Witches by Sangu Mandana. I never dropped it. It's right here. This book that I did not drop. And then the Raven Boys series, I have been wanting to read this too. I just haven't gotten around to it because there's not enough time, man. There's not enough time. Two books that I also want to read. Tress of the Emerald Sea by Brandon Sanderson and The Invisible Life of Addie LaRue by V.E. Schwab. I actually have started reading this, but I want to read this one as well. I think this is one of his more, one of his less intimidating works, Brandon Sanderson, and this one comes highly recommended to me, so I will be reading those. Oh, and as you can see, there's some of the Game of Thrones books. I don't know about those because George, I know you're not going to finish them, and that show is my favorite show of all freaking time, hands down. No one say anything to me about it. I'm on my 9th rewatch. It's the only thing I watch because I don't watch TV or movies. I'm trying to do better though. I know you're not going to finish them, so do I want to read them? I don't think I do. All right, what's next? Oh, House of Frank, a cozy fantasy that I'm also in the middle of reading. Are we sensing a theme here? Maybe we are. What else? Oh, Tender is the Flesh. I am scared, but I do want to read it. So here is my favorite authoress of all time, Lucinda Berry. I have every single book available to me, and I have read every single book available to me, even the ones that are not physical. I have read, I've listened. My favorites are Saving Noah, Check trigger warnings. This is not a light-hearted read. None of them are. I also really loved Phantom Limb. I love them all, actually. But these are like my favorites. I also loved Keep Your Friends Close. This one's a little underrated, if you ask me. Appetite for Innocence scarred me for life, unfortunately. And I also really love one that's underrated as well, severely underrated, is Missing Parts. So check trigger warnings. And I think one that I would recommend is probably The Perfect Child. For those of you new to her, it's a little more palatable than some of the other ones. But anyway, over here I have all of my S.A. Cosby books, and then just some that I threw on here because I didn't feel like rearranging the whole thing. My Sister the Serial Killer, which I've talked about, is also on here. So let's dip y'all down. Lucy Foley, I definitely want to read at some point. I don't think I've actually read anything from this shelf. I definitely want to read Rachel Harrison. She's one that I'm wanting to get into. There aren't any. Oh, one that I want to read is a cozy mystery. I have not read any cozy mysteries. So if you have some recommendations for cozy mysteries, please send them my way. But one that I do have is the Finlay Donovan, like the first one. And I definitely want to read that one. Last two rows on this shelf. So Truly Devious by Maureen Johnson. I really enjoyed this when I read it years ago. And I want to reread them and finish the series. And then The Other Woman I really love by Sandy Jones. We Were Liars. Bleh. I think I read Genuine Fraud too, and I don't think I loved it. But that's okay. Not everything is for everyone. Then starts my Frida McFadden collection. I've read almost all of these that I have. I've read all the ones up here. The Housemaid is one of my favorites. They're making that into a movie. It comes out on Christmas, which I'm very excited about. Never Lie, also a classic, one of my favorites. And then if we come down here, you can't see me, and that's okay. That finishes the Frida McFadden collection. I read and enjoyed both of these by Adrienne McKenty, The Chain and The Island. Those are really fun, like fast-paced thrillers. They're not really psychological. The Chain kind of is, but it's more of just like a thriller. Ooh, Sarah Pinborough. I really want to read this one because I loved Behind Her Eyes. And this is another one by her that I'm excited about. Another one that I want to read is Goodnight Beautiful. I've heard some really good things about this one too. All right, third shelf. Lots of fantasy and mystery thrillers over here. Again, this is your opportunity in the video to tell me all of the tea. What am I missing out on? I really need to know. All right, we are at our final shelf. Up here, I have the rest of my like overflow thrillers. I would like to overthrow the thriller government. Actually, I'm glad you brought it up. This is something that I have thought long and hard about. I don't know where I was going with that. But anyway, we have the rest of my Riley Sagers. This is the only other one that I need to read, Final Girls, along with Survive the Night that I talked about earlier. I have read Home Before Dark and Lock Every Door, and I really enjoyed these two. These are two of my favorites from him. I have some Karen Slaughter, read Pretty Girls, loved it. And I have some other Catherine Steadman. This is the one that I have read that I referenced earlier, The Family Game. But I also have something, baby, there's something in the water. I know it's Shark. There's something underneath my bed. Oh, please. Okay. Ruth Ware. Now that's an interesting, she's a doozy, in my opinion. I have been keeping my left eye on her for quite a while. So let me know if you think these are worth reading. I'm very interested. I have read Hide and Was Okay. The ending didn't do it for me. Shanora Williams is one that I really want to get into. She is a thriller author, psychological thriller author. Heard great things about her. Yum, yum, yum. Amazing. Yum, yum, yum. Okay, so now we have our romance. All right, so Honey and Spice, love you, girl. One of my favorite romances. And then we also have Only for the Week by Natasha Bishop. This is steamy. You aren't ready. And then we can go down here. Say You Swear has a special place in my heart for all eternity. I cried like a big back baby reading this book. Amazing. I also have the sequel, and there's another one coming out too. I have Promise Me Not as well. That one's following one of the people in the ensemble cast from the first book. Ooh, this is one I want to read. This might be a good one to read now because it's baseball season. The Problem with Players by Brittany Cherry. This is a thickums and a bigums, but I love a sports romance. So that's one I'm keeping my right eye on. You Made a Fool of Death with Your Beauty by Kweke Emezi. Cute. That one was fun. Very spicy. What else do we have here? Jennifer Hartman. I have read Lotus, well, Still Beating, and Lotus. Really enjoyed these. These are like dark contemporary romances. So I would check trigger warnings for those for sure. But I do have a lot of her other novels that I also want to get back into when I'm back in my romance bag. I have Magnolia Parks, a lot of the books in that series. I really want to read this one because I've heard it gives Gossip Girl, and I love that show. So this one is definitely high up on the list when I'm back in a romance mood. All right, down here, more romances. I have my Emily Henrys. I have all of them except Funny Story. I haven't read them. Every time I've tried to pick one of these up, I just have not been in the mood. Let me get down here. I've just not been in the mood, but hopefully when I'm back feeling a romance, I will get to those. Talia Hibbert. I've read this one and loved it. Highly Suspicious and Unfairly Cute. It's a cute little YA romance, but she also has the Brown Sisters trilogy that I really want to read as well. And over here, I have my little strawberry bookends holding one of my favorite romance, probably my favorite romance series of all time. This is the Hoops series. Love these. Aren't these so cute? Long Shot, Hook Shot, and Block Shot. And I believe there are more to come. What color do we think these would be? Probably like a purple, like a lilac. If you like these strawberry bookends, I will link them in the description. I got these off of Etsy and they are so stinking cute. Like, it makes my chest hurt. All right, we have about 3 more rows. I am continuing on with my Kennedy Ryan collection. Love her. Before I Let Go was the first adult romance I have ever read and got me hooked. And I have almost everything that she's written. So love her. Auto by author for me for sure. Then I have some Lucy Score, which these are so cute, these covers. Oh yeah, the 3rd book in the Skyland series, which is these, is coming out in May. We're going to be following Hendrix, who will complete our trio of besties that we're following. And then down here, I have more romance. I have Before I Let Go, which I talked about, or I'm sorry, If He Had Been With Me, which I've already talked about. And then I have Finn's Point of View, If Only I Had Told Her, which I don't think I'm going to read. Sometimes when I read a book and I reflect on it and I was like, was that as good as it could have been? I just like to leave it there because I had a great experience reading this. I cried. I loved it. I don't want to then at this stage in my reading journey read something else from this world and be like, ugh, and like ruin my own experience, you know? So I'm just going to remain blissfully ignorant when it comes to that. But anyway, I have The Dating Playbook by Farrah Rochon, which I definitely want to read that one. That's a football sports romance. And now I have my dark romance. I don't have a lot of plans of reading any of these anytime soon, but they're here. They're here. And I have these mainly because, you know, if someone that I know wants to read these, I'll have them, you know, wants some dark romance, just like a library. Not every librarian wants to read every single book in the library, but they have them so they can loan them out, you know? So that's kind of my vibe here. So I want to build this up a little bit more. Okay, my last row down here is a lot of my overflow book of the month books. A lot of my overflow book of the month books. Of course, we have Oathbound, which I am very much excited to get to that one. And then a lot of these are from the haul that I just posted. Drowning by TJ Newman, I have, and Love. I have another Rachel Harrison because I definitely want to read her. These are just book of the month books. The ones I'm really interested in are Count My Lies and Wild Dark Shore. These are the two that really caught my eye. These were from March. And then over here, what do we have? Oh, the second book in Children of Blood and Bone series, the Orisha trilogy. There, and then I have an Alexis Henderson that I'm excited to get to. All of these down here, I'm gonna talk about how excited I am to get to because I just bought them. So you know how that goes. So that's these down here. All right, this is your last chance to roast me for the books that I have read or have not read. So, I mean, if you don't do it before I show this last row, you're out of luck, bud. All right, everyone, that concludes my book collection. I hope you enjoyed, and if you did, go ahead and leave a like, maybe a comment, subscribe, if you will, and I will see you in the next one. Have a blessed day, blessed night, blessed life. Let me know what else you want to see from me. Unless it's nothing, because that would hurt my feelings. I hope you come back, please. I hope you enjoyed, and you know what time it is. Tick tock on the clock, but the party just stopped. Oh, get out of my house. Get out of my house. Okay. Get out right now. It's the end of you and me. It's too late, and I can't wait for you to be gone. Cause I know about and I wonder how I ended all the lies. You said that you would treat me right, but you were just a waste of time. All right, can you please leave? Maybe if I say please, you'll get out of here. Will you please leave? No? I would throw you out, but this camera's expensive. So I'm not gonna do that. So I guess, again, I am bending to your will. So I'm gonna leave and you stay. And since you wanna stay so bad, watch my other videos, please. Okay, bye.